Good afternoon. My name is Fernando Bertrand. I'm in charge of the maintenance planning engineering at Le Bourget Service Center. Since 10 years, I started working in the aeronautics company. I started working for an airline company 10 years ago, and since 2009, I'm working for Embraer. For everybody, what's Embraer? We have 3 business units: commercial aviation, executive aviation, and defense. Here I will talk about the executive aviation. We have one service center based at Le Bourget Airport. We have different kind of aircraft, Phenom 100, Phenom 300, Legacy, Lineage, so several kind of qualification and technician. Just for your information, since 2013, the Phenom 300 is the aircraft for executive aviation with the most selling per year. So we are doing the maintenance for the Middle East, Europe, and Africa. We are the only one service center based in Europe for Embraer. Like Renault, if you buy a car, we have different kind of service center. We have Renault or another. Here for the executive aviation, the customer can go to Embraer Le Bourget or can go to the authorized service center. Here you can see Jan is one of my best competitors based in Czech Republic. So please, Jan, if you can go outside right now, this will be good. Just to give more information about production, we have 2 shifts, one on morning and one afternoon for the technician, logistic, and my project leader. We have one team dedicated to the AOG and line. So AOG, it's aircraft on ground. So any kind of inspection or intervention we will do out of Le Bourget. Right now, at this moment, I have one aircraft based at Nice to do an engine replacement, and one another at Luxembourg for wing fuel leak. So that's kind of things we cannot do. We cannot have any prevision. And that's happened. So I start this week with 2 base maintenance activity, and right now at this moment I have 2 aircraft in AOG and 5 lines. So line, it's all the aircraft will pass in Le Bourget to do an oxygen servicing, replace a wheel, or an aircraft will have a message in avionics and we need to replace something, we need to troubleshoot. So that can be 2 hours or 3 days with the engineering and one customer with and satisfaction. The hangar is fully booked all the year, and we are Embraer, so we cannot refuse a customer. So we need to impact directly our activity to accept a new customer in the hangar. In 2000, just to give more information, since 2008, Embraer started a project about the continuous improvement called P3 for Plan d'Excellence Entrepreneurial Embraer. It's something similar to the Lean. And so we have everybody train all the people from the technician to the top management about Kaizen, improvement, these kind of things. And in 2013, we did a big project on Lean about how we can reduce and how we can improve our maintenance. And so for this project, in 2015, we have a few problems. We have difficulty to release the aircraft on time, and we decide to work with the critical chain and the theory of constraint. And we did a first diagnostic in June 2015. So in the first diagnostic, we see several issues. We have difficulty to do the planning during the sea check. So the sea check is one of the biggest maintenance events for our activity. It's, just to give an idea, it's something like 1,000 job cut to sequence, 3,500 man hours to schedule every day during 8 weeks. We have a problem to deliver the part, so we have a problem to give the part to the technician and to do the work directly on the maintenance. One thing's important for our regulation, for our aircraft regulation, it's about the findings. So we receive an aircraft, and during the maintenance, we discover something on the wheel, something on the filter, and we need to do an action to replace something. And for that, we need to have the approval of the customer. We cannot do something on the aircraft without the approval of the customer. So these things can take a lot of time and can directly impact our release. Every day, the technician go to discuss with the aircraft leader and don't know the priority and don't know the job, need to wait to the aircraft leader to have the next jobs to do. We have a difficulty about the visibility of the work progress. We don't know when we will release the aircraft. We don't know if we are on time. We don't know which kind of problem. And at the end, everybody are working as firemen and trying to find a solution. The alert is given too late, and everybody are doing something, but nobody are doing his own work. The management of the hangar slot is not robust, not reliable. We didn't have at this time any software to manage the hangar and to manage the workload. So we have a lot of difficulty with the commercial team to accept a new customer and to not impact the check on progress. After the diagnosis and all the issue we have, we decide to do an action plan. And during this action plan, we train all the team, the technicians, the project leader, the logistic, commercial, all the service center was trained to everybody be aligned about the methodology and to know you as a commercial, if you have the information too late, if you give the information too late to the production team, we will impact directly our progress and the release and the release to service. We did an analysis of our data in the last C check. So I think we took 3 years of the C check, and we review all the data. We analyze about which kind of findings we have, how many hours of findings we have, which kind of parts we are already using for the findings. We review and we did a new planning, a new macro planning. And we say we need to review our methodology. The first methodology we had, we have 20 technicians to work every day. We will spread all the technicians on the aircraft. One guy on the wing, one guy in the cabin, one guy in the cockpit. We will try to start all the area at the same time. That's our first idea. And during this project, we decided just to focus, to take 4 technicians working on the wing, and with an idea to say, the first week, we need to close all the wing. We need to inspect the wing, close the wings, and be sure we don't have anything. So the idea of the macro planning with the data analysis is to start all the area where we have the most occurrence of findings to have during the first between 1 and 2 weeks, all the findings of the project. So that's before we start with all the area at the same time, and we didn't have any visibility of the progress because you try to spread your team and you try to follow all the area, wings, cabin at the same time. And our first work was to do the macro planning and just to focus. We decided to start with the engine, one of the most critical area, and to do all the inspection during the first week. The black line is the step when the aircraft will be on jack. So we know at the end of the first week, we need to put the aircraft on jack. At the end of the second week, the aircraft need to be on ground. It's not the black, sorry. It's the red one. The black line, it's about all the parts we need to send to the repair shop. So at the end of the first week, all parts need to be removed, all the routable parts, and need to be sent to the repair shop. And we need to have all the parts come back to the Bourget at the end of the third week to be reinstalled. So that's the macro planning we did just to have an idea how we can do the scheduling planning on the software. And on this planning, we decided to add a new buffer. We call that the buffer findings. We have the buffer of the project about all the variability we can have during the project, and we decide to create a buffer findings during the maintenance with the analysis performed, we found we have 500 man-hours just dedicated to do the findings. So during to give you more information about the process, during the check we will find a findings, a new item. The technician will report directly to the project leader and the aircraft leader. We will create these findings and we will decide to put in one box. At the same time, the buffer findings will reduce. So after the macro planning, with the support of the macro planning, we created the MS project. So we are using right now ProChain. So it's an add-on of MS project to follow the critical chain. We are not more following job card. So imagine the last time in 2013 we tried to do the scheduling planning of an inspection using an Excel files, 1,200 task job card to reschedule every day without a project software. And right now we decide to give a new visibility to the team and to not manage sequence job card, but to manage package. So on MS project, the project leader are not checking the sequence, but they are checking the package. So we don't have more 1,200 card, but only 170 package. The first thing when I do that during the inspection, the first things my boss says, that's not possible. I want to know every day where my technicians are working at this moment. I say, for why? That's the worst thing, and that's the difficult things. Sometimes it's the management. Everybody wants to know something. We are trying to do a micromanagement, and that's not the good thing. We need to give the power to our team. We need to give the power to the project leader, to the aircraft leader, and we decide to use this kind of scheduling. And we did a proof of concept in August 2015 with a seat check to show to everybody how we can do the job. And during the first week, we saw we are not losing any visibility. We are just giving the real things to the management, and that's more easy for the project leader to follow the project, and they are not more losing a time about one sequence. They are just checking package. If at the end of the day the package is closed, that's okay. If we have one job card didn't close on this package, which the aircraft leader need to discuss with the project leader and need to know why we are not able to close this job card today. That can be parts, that can be services, that can be man hours. We just need to know why we are not able to close the package and this job card, and how we can do to close that. We review all the estimated man hours with one technician. So we decide to be more aggressive. The first things when we discuss with the technician, say how many times to replace a filter. The technician say, hey, that's 2 hours. Say, you are sure 2 hours to do that? I'm not really sure about that. Say, yes, it's 1 hour, but I need to go to the logistic. I need to wait parts. I need to have my documentation. So the technician already take all the buffer and consider all the buffer to estimate this time. Right now, we cut everything and we review with more aggressivity our estimation of the job. So as I say, we establish the buffer findings. So right now, during the seat check, we have one buffer only dedicated to the findings. So it's in average 500 man hours. Ensure that the schedule respects the basic principle of the critical chain. So we need to be more focused. We need to have less work in progress in the productivity. We cannot spread all the team. We analyze and optimize the critical chain to answer the 5 weeks. So we try to find a solution about the technician. We know we cannot, we can have three technicians working in the aircraft, but we can have 3 technicians working in the cockpit. That's not possible. So we optimize the area to work. We review that. We did several tests for example, the main landing gear removal. We put a team with 2 technicians on the left side and 3 technicians on the right side. At the end of the day, the left side, 2 technicians working 1 day, remove the landing gear in 8 hours, so 16 man-hours. In the right side, 3 technicians did the work in 1 day, 8 hours, 24 man-hours work. So sometimes you are just putting 1 more technician, but we are not reducing the time. So we need to check that. You need to be sure if you have technician available and you will put to work on your aircraft, you need to be sure you will reduce something. About how we are checking the progress, at the end of each shift, the aircraft leader with the project leader will, for the morning shift, will prepare the work of the afternoon shift, and the afternoon shift will prepare the work for the morning shift. The idea is to have the technician directly starting this shift, knowing the job to do. At the end, we have only one area in the hangar to have the job card. We call that the control room, with the aircraft leader and the project leader. So all the job card is on this area. It's to be sure and to ensure at the end of the shift, the technician will go to this area and will give to the aircraft leader the job card. If it's performed, if it's not performed, the technician need to give an information to the aircraft leader. We need to be sure the the work is done. If it's not done, we need to take an action. What's the action? Parts. We are rating parts. So the parts will be arrived tomorrow. Could we do that for tomorrow, or the parts will be scheduled for 2 or 3 weeks, and we need to reschedule this job card and not enclose the package. So that's the idea. Every end of the shift, we need to check the project. In order to keep a low work in progress, so we try to close the job card before to give more work to the production. That's in the left side. That's the example of our first fever shot for the proof of concept we did in August. So you can see that's not our best one. Why? Because we did several try. We have difficulty with our first estimation, and every time right now since 2015, we are revising our estimated man-hours. We are revising our scheduling planning. After the release to service of this first proof of concept, since October 2015, we are working with the critical chain for all the base maintenance activity, and every day the project leader will send this kind of fever chart for all the team of production about where we are on the aircraft progress, and like that the management can check directly. We have something in red. What's the situation? We are rating parts. We have problem with man-hours. And we have a production meeting every day. It's around 15, 30 minutes maximum instead of 2-3 hours. So every day we have this kind of meeting with the management, with the production team, and we take a decision. Could we take 2 technicians on this aircraft and put in another one to be sure we will release the aircraft on time? What's the impact if we do that on this project? So that's a discussion. At the end of this meeting, everybody know the action to take, and the managers know they just need to do something about the part, do something about the servicing, and then they don't need to have the information about where is the technician and that. So that's our room called the control room. We put in place a visual management. In the left picture, we have the board area for one base maintenance activity. So every line represents a technician. The technician can go directly on this board, They are not waiting for the information from the aircraft leader. They just need to go to the board and take the document. Every time the project leader will give the job to do to the aircraft leader, and the aircraft leader will dispatch the work to the technician using this board. On the right area, we have the board for all the production activity with the information, and we have the screen TV for the aircraft leader to follow the technician progress. Like that, on the screen TV, the aircraft leader can check where are the technician, and if we have any problem about estimated hours versus the hours performed by the technician. Sometimes we estimate 1 hour, and after 1 hour we don't have any news about the technician, and the technician can have any problem, and nobody knows that before this screen. As I say, before 2013, we did a several seat check in 63 days, using a lot of man-hours, something like 6,000 man-hours. In 2013, we start the first project using a lean methodology. So we review our process, we review the 5S around the aircraft, we review the job card, how we can fill the job card, how it can be more easy for the technician. The only problem we have with this project is the difficulty to repeat this effort for another inspection. So in 2015, we decide to use the critical chain and implement to follow the project and to review few things. Right now, and since 2015, we are doing our seat check in 35 days, so 5 weeks, not more 8 or 9 weeks, and we save 3,000 man-hours. So just to give an idea, right now we on the same for the same size, we can do 2 inspections. So that's 2 revenue and not more 1. To come back on this, what's right now the situation? That's more easy for the technician to work. We don't have more difficulty. We don't have more pressure. The manager is just focusing about the problem, the main problem of the activity, and not checking about where is the part or where is the technician. And everybody know the progress. It's very easy to discuss with the customer and to send a daily report about the activity and say to the customer 1 week before, hey, we will have a problem that can be 1 day late, but we have the information. We have the control of the maintenance, and that's very simple to give this information to everybody. So since 2015, to give more indicator, we are releasing on time. Last year, 95% of our project. The last 5%, it's more due to occurrence linked to an engine replacement, like as we have right now. So we cannot do nothing. We need to wait the manufacturer of the engine to have the new one, and it's not more in our end for the last 5%. Everybody has the visibility of the aircraft release. The workload for we call that planner here, but it's for the project leader is we change the workload of the project leader. It's not before we have more admin people working directly on computer and just putting information and updating the software. Right now we have a project leader, and we have people managing a project, discussing with customer, discussing with subcontractor, with more time for the project and not just to update the system. The priority is not more changing, so we are not able to have zero multitasking, but we try to reduce the multitasking. And for the technician, it's really we improve the quality of life, because that's really easy to work like that, to don't have more pressure, to try to reduce the overtime, and to everybody be aligned with the situation. Conclusion. So we did that in 2015 with the 3 business units. Since the last year, Embraer create a new business unit called VSS for Vice Presidency Service and Support. And since the last November, we are for the service center, so Le Bourget, the service center on Embraer, Le Bourget, 4 service center at United States and 2 service center in Brazil. We are working together about how we can standardize our work, how we can share our best practice. And one of our best practice right now, that's the critical chain. And the idea for the second semester, it will be to have the implementation in the new sites. I think it will be Brazil in the first, to have the implementation of the critical chain this year. And for the future, 100% of our activity for the service center in Embraer working under the critical chain activity. Any question?